Well. There's a new king in town, Dion. Or should I say, Emperor?
Are you making a penguin joke?
Yes, I'm making a penguin joke, Dion.
Okay.
Welcome to the BattlePod, the only podcast where we make penguin jokes. We've been making penguin jokes since the first episode. Every episode features a brand new penguin joke.
What was the penguin joke in the first 3?
Look, let's listen. Look, here's the thing. You have to understand. Okay, you're making some very compelling arguments. Okay, you're right. There's no penguin jokes, okay? I wasn't even in the last one to make a penguin joke. So, fine. The only podcast where the first episode, this episode has a penguin joke in it. One penguin joke. No more penguin jokes.
Okay. All right.
You're not allowed to make any penguin jokes.
That's fair. Well, welcome everybody back on to the Battle Podcast. Got Dion Lunsford here, as always, joined with my partner Connor. Back for episode 4. I kind of lost track for a little bit.
Sure there hasn't been 3? I only remember 3.
You only remember 3?
Yeah.
Including this one?
Yeah, this is the 3rd one, right?
No, we did 2 and you missed 1.
Oh, okay. That's it, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually listened to one of our old ones while running today, and that should have been the 3rd one. So that makes this one the 4th one for sure.
Okay.
But yes, we're back again. Kind of relatively fresh from Origins. Hasn't been too long, almost about a week and a half. You went with me. How was your experience at Origins?
It was great. It was good to meet everybody. After seeing everybody online, I fanboy out of events. I'm like, oh my god, it's you! And I have no idea. I think that a couple people came up to me. Obviously, my in-game name is like my name, so it's a little easier to identify. But I think also having my picture helped. But people just came up to me, and I had no idea what they looked like. So I'm just like, oh my god, you're this person. Now I can't unsee that.
Yes. That reminds me of last year, actually, with Deanna. She was fanboying quite a bit. Like Emom. Lux in particular, she was like, she couldn't believe she was meeting Lux in real time. Like, honestly. Like, he was
Star Realms legend.
Yeah, he was always whooping her ass in the in-apps and stuff. Like, kind of cursing his name, usually. And then when she met him, like, everything was just...
And now he's a human being. And we love him. So, that's how it goes.
Yeah, so I definitely understand the feeling. My Origins experience was great as well. I mean, I don't know how many Origins I've gone to now, but it's been a lot. Enjoyed my time at the Star Realms booth where I spent most of my time, really, after a couple of my other things kind of going by the wayside or not being there for various reasons. But it was also great. I mean, got to meet people as well. People that I've seen before, some new people. I think for me, meeting JL and Bork and Beans in person was pretty dope. It was amazing to play some games with Bork and just see him. Yeah. And then the qualifiers were also pretty hectic as well. Got the sneak in off the second bullet for me, and then I believe it only took you 2 bullets as well, right?
Yeah, 1 and 4, 2 bullets. that's how it went.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah, we both found our way into the qualifiers, so into the main event via qualifiers, which was nice. One of us two, actually found ourselves in top 8.
Yeah, man, good job with that performance. I mean, really, I'm sad you didn't get it, but a top 8's pretty good. You know what I mean?
Talking about you, Connor.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm cool like that, I guess.
Yeah. Like what? 250 bones?
500 bones.
Wait, you won. You won a game.
I won a
played
game.
a $250
top
money
4.
match.
Yep.
Yes.
Lost to Silent Al.
I didn't put enough respect on your name. That's fair. Yeah, you beat Matinee, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Played the Silent Al games are some really, really good games. He's a great player, and I think those games were the ones. It felt like playing high-level chess, where at the beginning of the game, everybody just knows what the other. You just go, oh, click, 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 and it's like routine and muscle memory for them at that point. They've played so many games, and that's what it felt like. I was just like, oh, I know what he's like. I know what he's going to buy. I can't do anything so it was really interesting in that regard. That just felt like the early part of a high level chess match.
Did it ever get to the point where maybe after the first 8 turns, where then you guys had to start thinking about turns, cards to buy?
Yeah, I mean, so the next step from that, right, is, as you start getting econ, you don't know what they're going to buy.
Yeah.
You kind of have that range. You're like, all right, well, this or this, either way, right?
Yeah.
And then, after that, it I think we both played this kind of pseudo-aggressive play style that I think works really well in person, where you can't constantly look at your deck and remember exactly what you're going to have next turn. You have to use what's the thing between your ears?
Your brain.
Your brain, right? Yeah, you have to use that to remember things. I'm not very good at that. So going at least a little bit aggro, I don't take any of the big risk, big econ. I know when I played Matinee in Swiss, he did it against me really well, and I was like, dang, I could never remember what cards. I don't know how to do things like that. I just know how to get enough damage to make sure that I'm always okay.
That's fair. Yeah. I only asked about the point, you said you were talking about, it seemed like you guys were both tick-tock moves were going in. Obviously, as an avid chess player myself, I understand the concept in chess called preparation, where usually 2 high-level players just. And I preface this by saying there's no way you can prepare for a Star Realms game. A lineup is the lineup, and you just work with what you got. But if you're maneuvering the way that you said it, you were, it kind of reminds me of 2 kind of relatively decent level chess players who literally, depending on how the opening goes, knows the next maybe 8 to 10, 12 moves after that before the game starts to turn into something new, and then you got to start. Right. So that's kind of what that reminded me of.
I think the big difference, I agree with what you're saying. The big difference, I think, in Star Realms is that the RNG element,
of course.
Usually I think it escalated to the point where we were just, it escalated to the point where the new thing is, am I going to die this turn, or am I going to kill him? But yeah, no, there were some good games, and yeah, I had a good time beating everybody.
That's good. Yeah, and I had a great time as well. I was hoping Deanna was going to be able to get in there with us. She was unable to, but she did give it 4 really good tries. I played Silent Al twice throughout the Origins week. One of the qualifiers that he managed to get in. I think we played for a win and in actually, where he got me and qualified his way in, beat me in Colony Wars. We played each other in the main event. Also Colony Wars, where he also beat me again. Had some pretty good games. One little heartbreaker. Well, 2 heartbreakers really. But the first one, I believe I told you, played against. I believe her name was Casey. Really good player. I don't think she's in the community, but she definitely knew what she was doing. I think it was a Colony Wars game, and there was a point where I flipped in an Emperor's Dreadnought, which I seem to do a lot between the qualifiers and the main event. I think I can at least remember 3 of them that I flipped that was immediately bought by by my opponent. So she was able to get that, and then followed it up with later on a fresh deck, top hand turn of Emperor's Dreadnought, Lancer, Starbarge to make me discard 4 cards, and literally eliminating any gap that I had because I was creating a gap, and then she ended up killing me the following turn. So a little bit of heartbreaker there. And then I played JL in the penultimate winning round to get in. I felt like I had really good resistance, and it turned out I had the best in the room. And unfortunately, I was not able to get it over JL. Got me with a really nice central office play, and I got a brain world, but apparently the play was the central office because that central office binded me really hard. So GG's to Casey, GG's to JL, who ended up taking the whole thing. So um, really, really fun time. So looking forward to the next one. Good luck to all the players playing at Gen Cons, Legend Series events, and we'll move on to the next.
Speaking of events, why don't we talk about the cool, hip new event that just happened?
Okay, cool hip.
I'm talking, of course, about Darklighters, Commander's Endurance Challenge. It's going to be a really interesting event, I think. We'll see kind of Yokum's allowed, which is changes the way things go. I'm in it and interested to see how it pans out. So if you're in the WWBC because you like Commanders, you can check that out and give it a look.
Okay. Yeah, I know I got some notifications about it. He gave some shout outs on our WWBC Facebook page, reaching out to some of the more Commanders player base. I had a lot of stuff going on, plus I wasn't really sure about how it was going to work with the Commanders. Admittedly, the inclusion of Yokum also was a little bit of a setback for me.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on how it rolls, I mean, I could play in the second one. I understand that you only get to use like three Commanders,
Right?
and then you can't use the same people on the next one. Is that right? Okay, yeah. So obviously, I'm assuming that wouldn't have any bearing on me not playing in the first one, but maybe I'll have an advantage against some people who can't play certain people.
Yeah.
So I guess if I had known that, maybe I would have considered it more, but I didn't really research it much or look into it as much. So sorry, Rick. I'll probably be around for the second one, like Commander. So even if I have to play with Yokum, I'll probably play anyways. All right. So what else we got?
Okay, let's talk about the real cool event, not the bait and switch. Tugging on your heartstrings that I just did.
You did throw me off there. I thought we were going to do that one a little bit later. But okay. Yeah, we did just have a tournament in our first event of season 2. WWBC. We're back at it. We kicked it off with what I call the Commander Standard format. It's what's on the N-App. We play every single Thursday. All 3 base sets, base set, Colony Wars, and Frontiers, along with United Command, United Assaults, Stellar Allies, and of course the Commander's expansion. Only difference here was no Yokum, so the meta is a little bit different in the app, but I find that from week to week it really just changes on its own. I've tried to keep track of it, but it's proven not to even be worth it, to be honest. But however, apparently the omission of Yokum really seemed to make things turn pretty crazily. But we'll see how that went.
And the winner is the Emperor Penguin himself.
The Emperor Penguin. Okay. Sorry.
Portrayed by Danny DeVito, Penguin Army takes his place. His first dub in WWBC.
Oh, I believe his name is Dan. It's definitely not DeVito.
Oh.
You thinking Batman?
You can see how I got them confused.
You thinking Batman?
Yeah.
So yeah, Penguin Army getting his first win. Pretty sure.
His name's not Alderman, so yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, yeah. So the first WWBC victory. I did, if you're listening, Dan, update your status in the Discord already. Because I think you actually were highlighted as purple with the people who made the
It
finals.
it was just us on pink, and
yeah,
now it's just me.
and now you should be green unless you find a way to change it. Because I did add the WWB tournament champ to your accomplishments on the Discord, so he has got another medal for himself.
It's too good for me now. I see how it is.
So leading what seemed to be the Newberg Army. We had 54 players in this event.
And many of them were Newbergs. And shout out to the Lees that all showed up. I'm proud of you. Thank you all for coming out as Lee players in Pride Month and showing your pride for Divine Admiral Lee.
Pride for Divine Admiral.
Yeah, they're not like, it's a joke. It's not Pride Month pride. It's just being proud of being a Lee player. That's it.
Okay.
There's no Rainbow Commander for anybody to pick.
Okay.
Take it up with Rob, guys. I don't.
Fair enough. So we have 54 players. 2 players picked Nandi. We had 6 Vulcans, 10 Lees, also like you said. Yeah, so definitely representing the Lees. 12 Walshes, 11 Newbergs, and 13 McCreadys. This was definitely one of the most balanced numbers that we've had. Obviously, you take out Joachim, you've got a good chance of getting that. But I was excited to see the numbers and how things were going to pan out. Keep in mind that number 11 for the Newberg players. So, yeah, our top 8 had, what's it got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Newbergs in the top 8. And then go ahead and extend it down to the top 16. So is there? Okay. What is it, 5? So we're on 6.
Yep.
7. So 7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 7 out of the 11 Newberg players managed to place pretty well in the tournament. I don't know if that indicates his strength or just how things went. Obviously, the go-to inclination was that Newberg likes to prey on the McCreadys. There were some interesting things said in the Discord about how it seemed like McCready's main role was to take out everybody else, so that Newberg could take out the McCreadys at the end. And that seems like exactly what it was.
So okay, no, I don't agree with you. Well, okay, look. The reality is there were obviously 5 commanders here. Sorry, Nandi. There were only 2 Nandis, and there were less Vulcans than the other 4. And what happened is the Lee players murdered the Vulcan players. I was one of them. And then the McCready players murdered the Lee players.
Okay.
And at that point, you're just left with, oh yes, I guess there's Walsh. They also murdered the Walsh players.
See?
I forgot that Walsh is a commander. So yeah, the McCready players took out all the other commanders except for Vulcan, which was mostly Lee. But yeah, pretty much as it turns out, whoever said that
McCready
was right.
was a higher
Pretty
gun.
much.
That's what it looks like.
It's just those 2 astronauts in space, and the McCready's looking at the Earth like he's so proud of his accomplishments, and then Newberg's behind him.
Yeah, like literally, I was thinking there's so many memes, right? Of like there's the assassin one, like McCready's like just chilling
in the church. In the church,
exactly.
In the church, Lee's pointing at the Vulcan, McCready's pointing at the Lee, Newberg's pointing in the sniper in the back at the McCready.
Exactly. So Penguin Army, 6-0, undefeated in the winner side, staying in the winner side. He ended up taking on one Carles. I don't think that was a rematch of the winners final.
No, it was Bahamut.
Yeah, that was Bahamut, of course. Um, yeah, so Juan Carlos going 7-2, making a bit of a run, beating Bahamut in the losers final. I believe that was 3-1. Man, I was hoping Bahamut was going to be able to make it back. I mean, I don't mind a new Berkmere, um, just considering Bahamut took Penguin PA to 5 games in the winners final. Would have been interesting to see how that would have turned out. Bork and Beans in 4th, beating out Alderaan, I believe. I believe he actually double eliminated Alderaan.
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty fun to see in this type of setting. It rarely happens. I believe, did you get double eliminated last season one time? Was it by Alderaan?
Yes.
Yeah, so like it doesn't happen very often, but like it does happen.
Theirs was like pretty close to back, though, I think, because they were so high up at that point that Alderaan maybe won a game or two and then was against Bork. Whereas I remember mine, Alderaan eliminated me early on, and I clawed my way back to get to him just to get beat again.
Right. So yeah, so and then there's the 9 is Ninja, tied for 5th as well. And then rounding out the top 8 is Patriarch and Belush. So we had 2 newcomers to the top 8. I believe the other 6 have been here before. So definitely a congrats to Patriarch 215 and Bahamut 619, Doug and Sean. Got to see Doug at Origins. I've seen him before. I believe they're also Ohio natives, him and his wife, Carla, who's the pink jewel in the app. But yeah, Patriarch's always a tough player, and I knew it was a matter of time before he would eventually break through. And that 6-2 record, indicative of somebody, him being in losers, making that run. I actually remember watching it. He actually beat a fair bit of players to get here. I believe his road was pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah. Quick special shout out to Bahamut for making his way up there in an army of Newbergs.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, these are the hired gun McCreadys who took out everybody around them too. So
yeah, Patriarch messed around. I don't remember what his winner's run was like, but he came down in 32, beat Sebas, Rippers, Walsh, Star Marks, Lee, Rockas, Walsh, Lidos, Lee, and then eventually succumbed to Alderaan in the top 8. Yeah, the other cool thing to see about these games when you see the players making losers runs now is that top 16 being best of 3 now. So like that's pretty cool, especially in the losers bracket. Because like the winner, if you're staying winners, you play fewer sets. That's where you want to be. But in losers, you might have to play a few extra sets. So Patriarch in particular had to play best 2 out of 3 in top 16 and in top 12 to make that top 8 run. Yeah, I believe Belush as well had a bit of a run. What was his record? Belush was only 5-2. Okay. Yeah, he was able to take down Sheridan. And I remember that because I thought Belush was going to have the run because he seemed to have no problem with the Newbergs for a minute. Yeah, he took down Sheridan, beat Corey Bear, who was on Lee, but then beat Bathory's. Like these are like Bathory's. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And Sheridan, 2 like known Newberg mains. So like to take them down, especially Belush beating Bathory's 2-0. What was that in top 12? So playing for top 8 before finally losing to Ninja. So he couldn't keep that up for too long. But top 4 losers was all Newberg mirrors, and then from that point on, it was just Newberg mirror, losers final Newberg mirror, grand finals Newberg mirror. So, and then at top 16, we got Lido. How would you pronounce that name?
what, Leicester?
Leicester. Okay. Bathory's newcomer to WWBC. I'm glad to see it. He's been sending games even before the season started. Like he preemptively signed up for most of the events before we even made announcements for him, which I was surprised about. I didn't know who this person was, but then sent me games, and we've been playtesting ever since. Deanna B, my girl, going 4-2 with the McCready. She had a pretty impressive run as well. Before losing to Ninja, I believe, playing in the game for top 8. A lot of these games were played during Origins. It was pretty funny to see. We had Deanna B, even before losing to Ninja, played Dusto, who is her captain in Dodgeball, and was also at Origins. So like a lot of real time games were happening. Before the Dusto game, she also had to play Philip. A lot of these games were happening at Origins.
Friendly. Oh gosh.
Yes. So it was pretty funny. And like I'm just sitting here, like, because sometimes Phil can be on the slow side. And I'm just looking at him like, whose turn is it? Is it your turn or is it her turn? But they got the games done, and we see how it finishes here. Raka and Yarboa rounding out, or oh no, with Corey Bear as well. Corey Bear, yeah, with the top 16 lead, sole lead in top 16.
No, Lido.
Oh, Lido. Sorry, Lido as well. Okay, so they made appearances. Who did they lose to?
McCready.
Both of them.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, yeah, Lido and Patriarch. Yeah.
I think Lido lost to Newberg in winners, but then McCready in losers.
Right. Yeah. Losers was what I was particularly talking about. It was very interesting in the top 8, because when I make my top 8 post, I do the records to get the top 8. A lot of people get confused because sometimes I wait until I get the top 8 just completely, even though maybe some of the bracket goes further on, and I put their records. They're like, "Wait, oh, I've already played more games than this." And like I just post your road to get the top 8, and for the loser side, at that point you've had one loss, and in this one, everybody's losses. It was like last season. Like 9 times out of 10, the loss that you took from winners was Yoko. And then this one, they were all Newbergs. So the Newbergs was just kicking everybody's ass, or just like you said, just waiting for all right, McCready, do your job, so I can just
Every good Newberg has to have a pet McCready.
Like yeah, but like that just didn't feel that way sometimes. Like in other, I guess it just depends on the format. But like I just. Like, what were your thoughts? I mean, we're gonna go into the win rates and stuff, but like, just looking at it before we even get into that, like, I guess you already explained what your thoughts were as far as why you think it turned out this way.
So, I think this format is you have a big deck because you have the three big base sets, and this part is a minor advantage where if you just queue up one set, you're probably not going to hit a lineup of 8 cost cards. It's very unlikely, or just huge cards, right? Everybody's just kind of like having that awkward moment where it's like, I guess I'm going to buy some Explorers. Right? But in a bigger deck, that's when it probably can happen, because just the possibility exists for it to happen. Because you actually have those cards there. And it doesn't matter if it's 8 or 1 or what have you. Clumping can occur in the bigger deck formats, and Newberg thrives in that environment because he's just got so much row scrap to just punch his way out of a problem or lock his opponent into a problem.
Yeah.
And it's aggressive enough that, he can pretty easily rush down like Elite or Vulcan, who I think has a favored matchup against him, as long as that specifically doesn't happen. If he can't get all those big greens early, Vulcan will usually, in my experience, like stabilize and kind of stop him from getting anywhere while chipping in that damage all the way. So I think that's what makes it thrive for Newberg. And I checked the matches, and most of them didn't even hit Vulcans. There were less Vulcans, so kind of the closest thing you have to a natural predator is gone. You have an environment where, even in that case, it's kind of your better matchup for it. So I think that's a good part of the reason why we saw him do as well as we can. And as we'll talk about later, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Event 2.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would definitely be interested to maybe talk to some of the Newburgh players and see their experiences. Like maybe even talk to the Penguin Army, see what his thoughts were. Maybe over the course of the tournament and in general as a Newburgh player. Like I used to play a fair bit of Newburgh in the early stages, so I wouldn't consider myself like a pro at him or anything. But was definitely surprised surprised and happy. Like it's like coming from last season, like maybe I believe it was a big part of Joachim's presence. Like Newburgh didn't really get to go very far because they usually would run into him, and bad things would happen. So definitely we'll have to see. All right, what's next?
So our rankings.
You want to do the rankings first or the win rates for the tournament?
The win rates. This is my handy dandy stats page, which you can see. It's pinned to the WWBC Discord page. So this is kind of the matchup table, and you'll start to see some of the things that we were talking about. We saw the leagues taking a dump on the Balkans.
I'm trying to think. What were my 2 losses? I think I played my brother. No, he was on.
You played Adam.
Oh yeah.
So you're one of these losses to McCready.
And then what's it? Yarboa Walsh again?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, it was. Okay. So I'm not one of those. Although it still sucks. It still feels bad.
Yeah, I'm 2 of them. So don't worry, I made up for you.
You double lost the leads?
Yeah, I lost to Lido and Corey Bear. That was it. I played 1 game against someone not called.
I am aware you went 1-2. Yes.
So, it was unfortunate.
Man, McCready was just hunting them.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately.
Like we know that's how it goes, but just to see the number, like the 11 matchups, it's like literally like McCready just hiding around the corner, just waiting for Lee to just be like. Yeah,
I mean, it's tough. It's an aggressive format. Again, not that aggressive.
Yeah, I was about to say people say that.
For Newburgh, it was aggressive enough, and it's just even a little bit can tip the scales in terms of like you have to panic to get things done. Both like in terms of Newburgh can like do some stuff, and also Lee is immediately trying to change out the diaper because they've had an accident and they've been paired up against McCready. That's how it goes.
You're reminding me, like, a little bit before we did this, I got a text from Deanna, like, just talking about a potential blowout that she was worried was going to happen. That didn't. So, a little weird movies in my head with that comment there. But, so I see, Lee, like I said, got it. The Vulcan matchups, did pretty good there. Solid against Walsh. Just like you said, like, just struggle with the green guys.
Yeah, I mean, Lee?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it was interesting.
Fine.
I was talking to...
most of the green guys.
To JL. And he asked me basically and he looked it up on the thing, as a Lee player, what percentage of games do you expect to win against Walsh in this format? Because he played a 50-game set against Sheridan, and I think he ended up winning like 15 out of 50
as Lee.
But the numbers were more aligned with like, it's like a 40-45% at least win rate depending on the pilot.
Right.
Like it's not bad, and certainly in this format, we watched them kind of just run train on him. It can happen. I think like it can be scary when Walsh gets that big base from the row, but if that doesn't happen, it feels pretty even. It feels like a real game of Star Rods.
Gotcha. Huh. All right. We'll get the Vulcan later. No Yokums. That's what I like to see. Let's go with the Walsh. So Walsh, obviously, we saw the struggle with the Lee. We're able to take those games against the Vulcans. I was one of those. Struggled a little bit with Newberg, and then McCready. What do you attribute that for? This is also interesting because we will be having a different format, but like we'll be having a battle of the greens later on. So to see like this again, different format. Do you think that naturally this is something that normally happens?
I mean, it's kind of what we saw last season. It wasn't this bad, but it was considered a struggle, and it's hard to say. Depending on who's in the pilot seat and what the format is. Personally, I think my limited experience has been like, this is that just aggro enough point where McCready is just going to pull it out, I think, by a few points. It might just be a few points. But it seems to happen. You change, you tweak it a little bit, and maybe you get a different result. But
right, it's interesting to see. I mean, Walsh obviously usually takes some hits at some point in a matchup, but somehow he usually always came out as the neutral. Even last season, just like one of the closest to 50-50 against the field. Even surprisingly, sometimes even just similar win rates as McCready versus Yoakum. But yeah, so that's the other reason why obviously we've seen Walsh do well in that tournament on Thursdays, but just it's not as awful as some of the other stuff. It's just a little bit surprising. And then McCready doing McCready things.
McCready goes until
Yes, until there. So we'll go straight to the Newbergs. Right now, Newberg with that win rate looking like Yoakum.
It's like revenge.
I hate to say that because I don't believe in some of the comments made is Yoakum going to be, or is Newberg going to be as toxic as Yoakum was? I don't believe that, but
I can understand.
That was before. I can understand that, and also that was before looking at this. This is literally my first time seeing these win rates, everyone. So yeah, you can look at this with me. Geez, 7-1 against Lee. Only hit 90 one time. Obviously, there's only 2 of them in the field. Beat the Vulcans. 5-1 against Walsh, and 20-9 against McCready.
Yeah. Ugh. The bad matchups can be bad. It's not 110 like a certain other matchup, but yeah,
20-9.
Devastation.
Have we seen? Did Yoakum ever have a dominant matchup like this?
What so
in an event?
Yeah, that's the tricky part, right? If there were enough Vulcans, I'm sure you would have seen it. But I think it was against Newberg. let me just do season 1 real quick. Okay, here's the all event 1, Yoakum versus Newberg.
Yeah, so that's obviously it requires you to have them play each other so many times, but
right.
But also we were reminded that the most matchups that ever happened was Newberg or was McCready Yoakum.
Right.
So but still even all that being said, one tournament.
No,
one matchup.
That's a lot.
29 games.
It was usually Yoakum and McCready, and they were usually neck and neck.
Exactly.
This was 2 armies. This was 2 armies getting ready, and the McCready players have their swords and their shields and their axes and their horses, and the Newberg players have assault rifles, and that's how it went.
just don't remember it being like. I agree that it's like I said it before, and like slight favorite before anything happens, but like, man. And overall, like I have more closer to 50-50 experiences. Like maybe I'm just doing bad things, but like, that's still surprising to see. Like, I just like I said, like revenge tour, whatever. Like that's fine. Like I'm here for it currently until like let's hope that Newberg isn't taking every single event he's viable in. But yeah, so that was I like it. Like, what's that total? You have are you have a
What?
McCready's total like throughout the whole thing? Well, I guess I guess I would count his mirrors. I don't really care about the mirrors.
Oh yeah. You want to know McCready's win rate
Newberg's
Newberg's win rate
in the
against non-Newberg commanders. He was 35-11. This is the sneak peek feature of something that hasn't been rolled out yet. So he's 50-26 overall, but that includes his win rate. This commander versus the world is versus anyone that isn't themselves. So Newberg versus everybody else, 35-11.
Wow. Is the percentage after that one thing, or what will it show?
Yeah, 76%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeez. All right. Well, yeah. Like, once again, congrats to Penguin Army and Juan Carlos and everybody who played Newberg. Yeah, I think that's a good enough cap for this one.
So while we're here looking at my beautiful statistics that I spend so
you are the one,
little time doing.
You are the one-man stat team.
So for those of you who don't know, I keep a record of all of the events. So you can come in here and you can filter to this is any event. This is a season 1 event, season 2 events, friendlies. There's a bunch of friendlies. And each of the WWBC events. So if you come in and you look, I'm going to filter to the next format. I've put in a bunch of friendly games, and I keep track of friendly games that I've played. Dion's contributed to this, in which we test future or past, if we get the urge to, formats to see what we think. Just whatever we're feeling, just to try and get a feel for things. And I'm going to be opening this up. So with this episode in the description and probably on Discord, I will post a link. I pull the event results automatically, but for the friendly results, I have a very short survey in which you type in the winner's in-game name, you click their commander, you type the loser's in-game name, and you click their commander, and then you pick which format you played in, and you hit the submit button. If anyone is interested in kind of doing their testing and adding it here, you're welcome to do that. I would encourage it. I'm doing it. I've been doing it. Anyone will be able to basically enter their responses here, and it will get, not immediately, but eventually categorized as a friendly result, and you can come and see, for future events or even ongoing events, what people have been playing. So if you're interested, I will share this. There is but one thing that I ask of you, and that is whoever you're playing with, please make sure that only one of you submits the results, because if you, when Deanna and I play, right, I put in the results, because if we both put in the result, then there's double the amount of results. So as long as you guys pinky promise me to only put in one result, I would appreciate it, and then I'm happy to get as many games as possible. I'm a stats fiend. I have thousands of games in here, and I'm only one person. Here. Something like 1,500.
Yeah, I thought it was
There's some gaps.
1446 or something like
that. Yeah, there's some gaps, but there's like 1,500 games in here, and I would like to make a big database. So please contribute. I sponsored this episode. There's our sponsorship deal. I'll pay you the ad money later.
Sounds good.
So, let's talk about the next event coming to you this Friday.
Yes, Friday will be the day that we fire this. It's going to be event number 2, the Blue Commanders Summit. Couldn't think of a cooler name to go with that, but we got that for each of the colors. This format will be featuring the base set and the Colony Wars set, along with the bases and battleships expansion, the second year promos, and then most of the bottom row stuff, Stellar Allies, Frontier promos, the tech expansion, and of course Command decks as always. So with the blue, green, and red, I just went and just looked through all the formats. Me and Connor both have lists of what we think each commander vibes with as far as the sets are, as far as affinity is concerned. His list is a little bit different than mine, but I make the calls for the formats, and this is what I decided was a fairly well-rounded format for all the blue guys, as will be the same for green and red. It's not perfect, but it's what I have in my opinion. So that being said, with the blue commanders, of course, that means you'll only be able to choose Nandi, Vulcan, or Newburgh for this event. So it's going to be a much more closed metagame, the most closed that we've ever had until event 3. And
What's event 3, Dion?
we'll talk about that in the next pod.
Okay.
So yeah, we've got, I believe, can you refresh that? I only asked him to refresh because I literally hadn't registered for the tournament yet, and I know the number was different. So we are currently on 47 players. We could see this event now and just kind of get it started, but we are doing this event just about 24 hours since the event was over? Since the event 1 was over?
Yep.
Yeah, so we don't usually do that fast of a turnover, but our schedule's kind of worked out to where we could do this today. So I'll probably allow another day or two for anybody who hasn't registered yet to do so. We'll get the fantasy brackets lined up. I'll send everybody the notification that fantasy brackets are good to make, and then the tournament will start Friday at some point, probably in the early afternoon. I will be back at the same site of Origins at the Convention Center myself, competing in a different games tournament. So either I or Connor will start the tournament at some point on Friday. So, what are your musings with this format so far?
Well, I'll give you a little good news, bad news sort of deal. Good news. I think this format might be, and this is a little bit cheating because there's only 3 commanders, but I think this is one of the more balanced formats that I've seen. That I think everyone is going to do about equally well. Bad news is, personally, it's sluggish and it pisses me off sometimes. It's really, it can be really slow, especially playing Vulcan, but it can be a lot. You can be there a while. The other good news is that I think that there's a very nice little triangle of a little weapon triangle, so to speak, of who's beating who. A little rock, paper, scissors. A little choose your Pokemon starter.
Oh.
In which Newburgh has a really, really hard time against Vulcan. Really hard. It's hard. It's rough. Vulcan struggles against Nandi. The Newburgh Vulcan matchup I think people probably know about, but Nandi, maybe in other circumstances, would have a tougher time against Vulcan. But in a format where things are slow, picking up one bomb and beating your opponent over the head with it can win you the game. And Vulcan is usually not in a position to get there. I played a few games against friends, against Hypaspis. I ended up beating Hypaspis in 2 games, but I didn't deserve it. I walked into Colossus when I had no business doing so. I just drew up a hand of Econ and bought it. I did not deserve to win that game. He should have gotten the Colossus and done it to me. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. And then Nandi against Newberg, probably going to get rushed down because Newberg will just punch anything that Nandi wants to try and do. At least that's what I've seen.
Interesting. Yeah, it sounds pretty plausible. Yeah, I believe there was a comment made in the Discord when I put the format out about the omission of the 2 alliance sets. And I was talking to Connor before we started the cast that like I know that I had to have had a reason for not including them in the beginning. Maybe I probably wanted a slower format, even considering that all these guys are blue and most of the blue is going to make the game longer anyways. Besides Newberg having the ability to get aggressive a little bit. But, yeah, I mean...
I want to say, I'm going off memory, and I'm not what you would call good at remembering things. But I want to say that Command is aggressive, and that might have been a reason why to steer away from it.
Right. Yeah.
My good buddy Assault Pod. And
right. Then, Assault Pod, but then there wasn't I don't know, I've tested a lot, not a lot, but I played a few games, and I still have some ongoing games in this format going on right now. That, playing with the character who I am playing, but I have played some of the other guys, and sometimes if you're Nandi, the damage doesn't come, you just lose.
Yeah,
I had a game. Literally, I don't know what I was doing, to be honest. I might have been focused on the other games that I was playing. I was playing against Bathories with Nandi, and I just didn't buy cards. I just lost, and he hits me up, and he's like, "Bro, where was your damage?" I was like, "I don't think it came. I think you took it all." It was really awkward. I was doing weird stuff. I was doing top decking stuff and using deck cards. But at the end of the day, I didn't really have any damage. I'm not even going to go to the replay and see what I did wrong. It just felt so weird. But I do know what you mean about the sluggish part, about the format. It can definitely feel that way. I think there's enough scrap cards for everybody to utilize to give, especially that Vulcan can get bases. I personally think is a pretty good format for all these guys involved. If they do want to play a base game or utilize some of the cards that aren't bases in that set, base set, Colony Wars cards that they have decent cards, 6 cost or greater cards that Nandi can scoop up real quick and maybe try to take advantage of that to make up for that 5-card hand. And then Newberg is Newberg. I mean, he'll be able to use something. He'll figure out a game plan. And if they get blue cards, and then Newberg will use those blue cards and then try to figure out what to do after that. So, have you found any game breaking or maybe even format defining cards in this format that you're finding that that card comes out, something that's either gonna get scrapped or is that person's got just added a few percentage points to their chance to win the game?
Yeah, for Nandi, anytime basically any big card comes out, you've got Brain World, Emperor's Dreadnought. Oh my God, Emperor's Dreadnought. Factory World, Leviathan. Even there's a big base in there's the Citadel and Stellar Allies.
Yeah, you got Citadel.
I don't even think I've seen that.
I think is it Stellar Allies? Yeah, I think it's Stellar Allies. Yeah, you got Citadel. You got Summit Site.
Summit Site.
I think No, I think embassy base is in one of the United
Yeah,
States, right?
yeah. I was thinking of Seven Side. You're right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. There's a lot that she can pick up. Newberg's got the Stellar Allies Pact Pod and
And a pack warship, which some people were looking at like, oh, is Newberg just gonna find this card and take things? Like, I don't know.
I'm gonna let you know a little secret. Not against Vulcan. Doesn't matter how many bases she buys. I mean, unless she goes all bases, I guess. But at least from my experience, it's not. Don't worry, it's not that game breaking. I promise.
Yeah, I think most of my matchups has been Vulcan versus Nandi with a few Newberg games here and there. Sometimes I'll play Newberg. Full disclosure, I mean, I'm playing Vulcan just because, like, again, she's the one I have the most fun playing with. Newberg seems to be the one to beat, and I like finding ways to beat the guy with the target on his back. Plus, I just like you said, I mean, there's only 3 commanders you can pick, but this really might be one of the formats. I know we have one that we're working on for, like, we're trying to find a format for each commander. Now, this isn't quite the Vulcan one, but, like, Vulcan does good stuff, and that's what I feel. On the topic of Vulcan, we know about the merits of her. We know that Lux beat Dion in the finals in the Origins last year, but in WWBC, it just continues to be one of the lesser picked commanders. Have you come to figure out why that is exactly?
Yeah, I would say that's because most WWC players are little bitches. Vulcan's great. Pick her. Pick her, you cowards!
Oh boy. But but actually, objectively. So I'm asking you to get in your, the same head that made the Lee article. Like, is there anything in her kit that, like, or is it just like
that drives people away?
Yeah.
I think that one of the big challenges, it's hard. Like Lee feels like there's myriad options in front of you, and I feel like it should be more intimidating than Vulcan. With Vulcan, I think, from my experience, there's kind of like 2 ways to go about playing her, which I would think would make it easier. But I think knowing when to do what, even if there's only 2 options, might be difficult and something that really takes a lot of time. And my go-to example will be using myself and JL, where he plays a lot with Frontier Tug, throwing the base in, making you deal with it, building up from there. Whereas I have a more aggro or value-focused game where I try and buy good cards. I just try and buy cards and get value out of them. Buying scrap. I'll buy bases, but like if there's a good card in the lineup, that does damage, I'm just gonna scoop it up, and eventually, if I get scrap, there's a lot of scrap is cheap, and that's all you need. You kind of scrap down to damage, and you start putting out more than people can deal with, and you decide when you heal. So you have that to figure that out, and that applies to the base one too. But I think you're usually more setting up a bad situation for your opponent before you do that. So I think maybe knowing when to do what and how to do it is, I think, more complicated than press X to do damage.
Right.
But still, Newberg is not. Newberg takes a lot too. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I like that you noted the different play styles that there can be with Vulcan, and maybe that's what it is. Like, I mean, obviously, if your game plan doesn't work out, like, you can definitely get rushed out by anybody. But like, I think I tend to be more toward the JL standpoint that you were talking about. I definitely try to, in my current, like, I don't know, journey to kind of get better at Vulcan. Like that's where I'm at right now, is trying to utilize the spots where I can abuse the Frontier Tug. And then I usually depending on if I'm how fast or how hard I'm getting smacked down, I try to find scrap, and then I'll usually wait a few turns before I use my heal ability, depending on the matchup. Like I'll try. I want to scrap down, get cards, and then know what my deck looks like to the point, it gets my deck to the point where I can literally just use those, just cycle that deck and then just heal every single time. Even if I'm down 2 scrap cards, just heal then. But and I have noticed your aggressive approach to Vulcan, but still trying to figure out spots where I can get an aggressive card, because sometimes you can buy cards that feel out of place, but sometimes Vulcan does need that damage, and that can't work out for you, because at the end of the day you are creating. You're basically if you get even a Predator or something, right? You get a Predator and then you scrap heal, you just played a baby Peacekeeper,
right.
So maybe I need to look into that more. I usually will play more defensive and try to play more of a control game with Vulcan sometimes, unless you just get lucky. Against slower games, I am not opposed to getting Explorers. I will get 2 Explorers and go into the next deck to give me a chance to race for a bomb. And I don't think I've really ever seen other Vulcan players do anything like that in such situations. But I do like to add some spice to my game, no matter who I'm playing. I like to think that at some points I'm doing stuff that people don't really see people do very often with said commanders. But it should be interesting. I'm hoping to get some points this time.
Oh, did you want some of those?
I did. Yeah.
Oh.
Can I have some of your 110?
No.
No.
They're mine.
No, theirs. Yeah.
I'll share them.
No, that's fair. That makes sense. So, obviously, yeah, we're gonna give a little bit more time for players to register. We had 54 players last time, so I think for the most part, I don't think there's any new blood currently out of the 47 players. So, give a little bit more time for maybe those other 7 players who may or may not want to play. Plus, obviously, any actual new blood that wants to play. We already have advertising out there on Discord, the WWBC Facebook page, as well as the Star Realms fan page community. For anybody who wants to check that out, it's a fun league. It's commanders only. Does require you to own most of the sets, except for missions. We will never play missions.
You're welcome.
So that's what we're doing there. So I'm not quite ready to seed the bracket or try to make predictions. We'll try to get that sorted out for the next one. Who's going to win? Not the player, the commander.
You beat me to it. I was going to ask you. I've been sitting there, bolt in the chamber.
Well, I feel like I've been asking you a lot of stuff. So
you go first.
Exactly. Well, it would be super dope to see. I'm actually curious on how some of these players have picked, to be honest. Man, I think I think Vulcan can do it. I'm gonna be naive and pick Vulcan. If nothing else, I know, because I believe he's a better player than me. Borkin Beans, I believe, said that he was gonna play Vulcan for this event. So it's already one more primetime Vulcan. I play games with you, and you do different stuff than me. You also tend to beat me most of the time, so I'll put you in that category as well to be potential driving forces. We agree, Vulcan can beat Newburgh better than any day in the week in general, but mostly it feels like this format, in the games that I play, just love Alder. He's number 1. He's number 2 in the season, but I did body him pretty hard in that matchup in this format. So yeah, I would pick Vulcan here.
Yeah.
Vulcan.
And you would pick wrong, idiot. It's gonna be Nandi. Nandi coming at you. She's gonna surprise beat the Newburghs. She's gonna win those 1 or 2 games against the Newburghs, and then it's easy. Gonna pick off those Vulcans. It's going to be a repeat of Event 1 where Vulcans are going to be all murdering the Newbergs. Gotcha. And then Nandi's going to...
I can definitely see that. I can see that happening. The only thing I would say is, do you think that? So you're saying that the 90s will be able to get maybe get lucky a little bit and then take down Newbergs? Are you saying that could happen 2 out of 3 games?
In the beginning. This is the thing. It's going to happen in the beginning.
Okay.
The 90s that are going to beat that first Newberg opponent.
Yeah.
And advance to top like 32 or whatever. Yeah. And all the Vulcans are going to... It's much easier. Slap the Newbergs across the face. Side.
Yeah.
Maybe some Newbergs make it through, and maybe they pull. They play mirrors, and then they play mirrors, and then they can take out some of the Nadis up there.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to hit one of those days. They're going to hit a Vulcan. And I think that if a Nadi does that, I think Nadi has the best. I think Nadi has the best like reverse of the little triangle that I described. Like best chance to beat Newberg like against what you would think. Even though she also has the weakest advantage, I would say.
Okay. Yeah.
That's contradictory, but shut up.
That makes sense. And that's not to say that Nadi can't beat Newberg in best 2 out of 3. Definitely is possible.
It's not possible. I'm saying it right now.
So the losers bracket, as always, is going to be very, very contentious because unlike in winners, it's a lot easier. You win your preliminary round. If you're somebody with a bye, you only have to win 1 prelim round before you get the top 16 almost, usually. And the top 16 starts best 2 out of 3. Whereas in losers, you got to get... If you lose game 1 and you go down to losers immediately, you got to play prelim round. Losers round 1. You got to win losers round 2. You got to win losers round 3, which I think at that point is top 32. I'm not sure. Then you got to get top 24. Then you get the top 16, which starts the best of 3 play. So you got to win 3 to 4 individual games, but just before you even get to potentially play best 2 out of 3.
Oh, see, this particular bracket looks okay in the way that it is in losers.
Well, the only thing is, that's randomly... I don't know why there's a best of 3 there. I noticed that there was a random best of 3 and a random best of 5.
Well, because it's doing that, it's flipped the thing.
What?
I think.
Yeah, but it's on full bracket. It usually only flips it when you try to change the thing. So, it'll be fixed when the bracket starts,
Look,
so it doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm going to use this one as an example for just a minute.
Okay. Do you want standings or do you want bracket?
Don't tell me what I want. Okay. We're going to losers.
So it's not...
Do you see these?
It's doing it again.
Do you see this?
Yeah.
Do you see this? This is
Yeah.
This is suffering right here.
Oh, you mean the bracket?
These people, all of these people.
Yeah.
You lose your game and you see that you're in the sub baseline of losers and you're just like.
I know, but highlight Corey Bear though. You see
Look
that?
at him.
Right? This is proof. Corey Bear is one of the best players that we have in general Star Realms and in Commanders. Definitely represented for Lee. I thought had a really good lead. But yeah, so this is the work that you have to do just to get what do you have to win? 1, 2, 3, 4. What's after that? After that unfortunate win against you. Yeah, so Corey Bear had to win 4 best of 1s before getting the top 16. Whereas in winners, you don't have to play 4 games. Nope. So the best advice is to not lose.
That's what all the best players do is they just don't lose.
So, yep. So like I said, we'll do. We'll have the fantasy brackets up. I'll probably allot one more day tomorrow. I'll send maybe Discord tags for anybody who hasn't signed up yet who did play in event 1.
Flux.
And then fantasy bracket, lock the bracket Thursday at some point. get the fantasy bracket up, make the announcement for fantasy brackets to get done, and then start the tournament on Friday. So that's what we'll do there. Was there anything else that we had that you know of?
Did I know of? Are you saying that there are things that I don't know of?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, then you would have them. So then why would you be asking me?
Well, maybe I was trying to see maybe you had something.
You think I just have a surprise that I'm just gonna belt out?
Yes.
Right on the show,
Because if you don't, then I do.
What? Okay. Then you do it then. Then you do it then.
Well, remember that day we talked about doing it?
No.
The guess that flavor text.
Oh no. Oh
yeah.
All right, explain it to him.
All right. So we've been talking about doing this for a little bit, and at some point in the pod, on each pod, probably going forward, we're gonna do what's called guess that flavor text. It's something that I stole from a Pokemon podcast that they did. And I thought it was really cool. So I was like, that'd be cool if we did that here. So if you're listening live or just recording, well, I mean, this isn't live, but when you listen to this, you're more than welcome to try to play this game as well. I haven't figured out how we're going to allot the point system, but it'll be fine.
Do better than me or you're an embarrassment.
I'm going to read off the flavor text, and we'll take turns. For now, it's just him doing the one today. Maybe next time we do one each, or we'll just alternate. So I'm going to read the flavor text of a certain card in Star Realms, and he's going to have to guess what the card is.
Do I get a lifeline?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out, and we can tweak it after this. So I figure you get 3 points if you just guess it straight up, and then you can get 2 lifelines. For each lifeline you use, you lose 1 point. So I believe the first lifeline could be, what was I going to say? Set. And the second lifeline could be, we could just
cost.
It could be cost. Cost could be better than what I was going to say. I think I was trying to be more helpful and like almost basically just read what the card does.
Yeah, that's a little. Well,
because at that point, because that would be lifeline 2, right? Because at that point you only get 1 point.
Right. For the audience, yeah, that's too much. For me, I still don't know what the...
Well, all right. We'll talk about it for the future. So we'll do it. We're going to read this card here. I believe some bases and ships have text. I don't know for sure. But so I'm just going to read this card. I'm not going to differentiate if it's a base or a ship. So here we go. It's hard to fully appreciate their grace and beauty when they're raining death upon you. Around you, sorry.
When they're raining death upon you. Okay. So, my first thought is, this is a ship. Because I don't think there's, other than like War World, I don't know what else would fit. That would be a pretty fitting one, but I also don't think that's War World's description. So it's something elegant and graceful, but that also is deadly. So I think I'm also going to rule out that this is not a blob. That's what I'm thinking. So this is the ship. It's not a blob. And it sounds like there's multiple in the art, right? So it's probably not something big like a peacekeeper. It's probably something small. It's also probably something that does damage. So we've got not a blob, ship that does damage. And I'm already starting to sound like the Kermit the Frog Muppet and Cookie Monster Muppet skit. Raining death upon you.
Again, it was around you. Not that should change anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's hard to fully appreciate their grace and beauty when they're raining death around you.
It's more fun for me to take a shot in the dark. So, let me think. What in front? I'm gonna go with Frontiers for no reason. No reason at all. Because I'm just trying to get an idea in my head. You know what? I'm gonna go Needle Lancer.
No.
Wow, I can't believe I got that wrong.
So since this is the first go around and we're just having fun with this anyway, we'll just go in with one of the first lifelines here. The set is second year promos.
Second year promos. Well, I can't. I want a card
this
list.
guy. He's about to whip out his phone, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Oh yeah, I'm gonna look at the card gallery so that I can know what cards are.
That's
in
what
second
I'm
year
looking at.
promos. But yeah, that's called cheating. Ah, boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Second year promos. Wait, is it? No.
There are, not that it matters, but there are 11 cards in this set.
I know. What's
Oh wow, you know that there are 11 cards in this set?
Yeah, I could.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I do.
That's not surprising,
Right?
Because we know that second year promo is the best.
And then Merc Garrison, the Battleship, and Colossus. That's 11.
That you just mixed Colossus with Frontier promos because Colossus is definitely in Frontier promos. Let's try that.
Brutal. Okay, I don't know that there are 11 cards in this set.
I mean,
I thought I was so smart. Okay. I'm gonna go with, and I don't even know its name. It's the yellow ship that is 3 damage, draw a card, then discard a card, and scraps for 2 econ.
that is a card in this set.
Yes.
That is not the ship.
Oh no. Okay.
So
what's my second clue?
Yeah. So for now, I'm basically just gonna tell you what it
Cost.
does. The cost?
Yeah, I think I can get it from the cost because you're narrowing it down in this
best.
particular set.
Okay. All right. 2.
Oh man, I was so close. I swear to. Well, okay. Oh man, it's Warkite.
It's Warkite. 1 point for Connor. So the plan is to keep track of these. Actually, we got time. You do it. You do one.
You do one?
Yeah, because the one that I saw, they did just one person did it each pod, but there's no reason for us not to not.
I have one in mind. Okay.
Okay.
I have.
This is too fun.
I have one that. I have one. If I could just. It'll just take me a minute. She's quick and has powerful guns, but her armor is, well, don't get hit.
Oh, wait. Hold up. All right, well, you
want me to read it again?
No, you're looking at the gallery, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. I was worried that you were messing around looking at high alert cards. Because I don't know what any of those are. Actually, yes. Read it again for me. Sorry.
She's quick and has powerful guns, but her armor is, well, don't get hit.
I've read this particular text before.
You sure have. you thinking about?
I'm trying to use the memory that I usually think as awesome and
It's a pretty good memory.
picture the art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dion does have like a ridiculous memory, so it's kind of interesting to see him dumbfounded like this. I kind of expected him to like either immediately get it or just have never heard, and be like, I've never read this text before in my life.
Oh my god. I need a lifeline.
What were the lifelines again? Sets and cost?
Yeah.
Okay. The set is Commanders. Commandex.
Oh, what the fuck?
Obviously, I'm gonna have a different lifeline for you other than cost because of that. You're welcome. Ooh, he's thinking. He's thinking so hard.
Yeah,
He's thinking harder than I've ever seen him think.
It actually makes me really sad.
It's a pained expression
Oh my
of a man whose like most reliable thing in his entire life is failing him. Mm-hmm.
No. I'm sorry, those of you that I'm letting down who already either know this because you've looked it up or you just knew it anyways.
Fire it off, or I can give you another lifeline.
I'm gonna make you fire it off. Jeez.
Yeah, you also don't want dead air in a podcast.
Wow.
And like, I don't know if you know this, but I'm not like really good at coming up with things on the spot.
This is so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I need the second one.
All right. Here is your second clue. I'm going to finish the card text. She's quick and has powerful guns, but her armor is, well, don't get hit. Imperial flight instructor. So your clue is, Imperial flight instructor.
What is it? Is it the... Damn. Is it the fucking...
Is it the... You can describe what the card does.
This is the yellow 2 and 2?
The yellow 2 and 2?
Yeah, 2 damage.
2 damage and pairs for 2 more damage?
Yeah.
The name of that card is Imperial Talon.
Imperial Talon.
No, yeah, Imperial Talon.
Wait. What's the one that...
Stellar Falcon.
Wow.
I'm a Leaf player.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Imperial Talon.
Imperial Talon is correct.
Oh my gosh. So we both only got 1 point today. Oh, I'm so sad.
This is going to be a hard one. I hope you did better than us, folks at home. I hope. Post your score in the comments. Post your total score. You get 2 shots. Dion and I got a combined 2 points.
Yep.
So post your score in the comments. Let us know how much smarter you are than a couple of knuckleheads with a microphone.
Yeah, and also if you got ideas for, I think the first lifeline's pretty good. Second one's fine too, but if you guys have any alternate ideas that we could use, yeah, post those as well. That'd be pretty cool. But I think that's going to wrap things up here for us. That was really fun. Definitely probably going to be a mainstay here for sure. And I'm going to try not to study and read all these things.
All right. Sign up for Event 2. It launches Friday. See ya later.
See ya.